The United States is a nation of animal lovers. It's estimated that 63% of all households include one or more pets. Most of these animals are treated like beloved members of the family, but nevertheless, around 1 out of every 2 ends up at an animal shelter. Some have been lost by their owners. Others have been abandoned or are homeless because there simply aren't enough homes for them all, and far too many are victims of cruelty, abused, neglected, and never knowing a day of love or kindness. Tragically, of all the animals taken into shelters, almost half are eventually euthanized. For over 100 years, Humane Society of Huron Valley has existed to alleviate the suffering of some of these animals. Established in 1896 to prevent animal cruelty, the Society's mission today is to promote compassionate, responsible care of all animals in our community. In the last 5 years alone, we've sheltered 40,000 dogs, cats, and other domestic animals. Veterinary staff in our clinic have spayed and neutered 13,000 pets, and our cruelty investigators have rescued 5,000 animals and investigated 1,600 cruelty complaints. We've been able to make such a big difference in the lives of so many animals and people because of the ceaseless efforts of our dedicated staff and hundreds of committed volunteers. The tremendous generosity of individuals and corporations in our community, and the success of special events such as this one, our annual Walk and Wag, provide us with the funds that we need to continue our work. But in spite of all these efforts, the survival rate could be vastly improved, and the well-being of so many animals in our community made better through the possibilities brought by a new shelter. Each year, 2,000 cats and kittens and almost 900 dogs and puppies enter our shelter and never leave. They are euthanized because of disease or behavioral problems that make them ultimately unadoptable. And one of the main factors affecting this euthanasia rate is the physical state of the shelter and its severe failings in space, design, and function. Our current facility was built in 1955. Shelters at this time were designed to warehouse as many animals as possible. Little or no thought was given to animal rehabilitation or emotional well-being. There is no soundproofing. Noise levels can reach as high as those of an airport runway. Dogs face off with each other and experience barrier frustration and kennel neurosis. In our kennels, animals and people alike are forced to walk the gauntlet of barking dogs. Severe overcrowding means that dogs and cats are housed in close proximity. Conditions such as this cause tremendous stress and can seriously affect an animal's chances of adoption. Outdated and dilapidated infrastructure, inadequate cleaning systems, and cramped, poorly designed clinic and animal intake areas make it difficult to prevent disease or stop cross-contamination. Animals come in healthy and too often get sick while in our care. On several occasions, mass disease outbreaks have resulted in the destruction of the entire shelter population. In the intake area, every animal, dogs, cats, strays, bite cases, old, sick, abused, and badly injured animals all enter through the same door. Animals are vaccinated, euthanized, and temperament tested in just one room. Temperament testing is a new intake's one shot at demonstrating that it's adoptable and will make for someone a loving pet. Imagine the stress. Fresh off the street or newly rescued from a life of abuse and cruelty. A kennel full of barking dogs on the other side of the door, and in a room in which literally thousands of animals have met an untimely death. These are the heartbreaking conditions under which a new intake has its chance for life. Overall, the physical condition of our shelter, the only one in Washtenaw County, is probably the worst of any humane society in Michigan, and its dark and dank condition drives away many potential adopters. We are determined to change that. We want to build a new facility, one that will allow us to be a model of excellence in animal sheltering, prevention services, and community support. According to the American Humane Association, A new generation of shelters are being built that celebrate the human-animal bond. They don't just warehouse, but rehabilitate animals. They emphasize the quality of the environment for the animals, staff, volunteers, and the public. A new shelter will feature soundproofing, grooming stations, group housing, and species-specific areas such as dog play areas and cat condos, reducing stress to keep our animals healthier and happier. Isolation and quarantine units, an expanded clinic, and better sanitary conditions will help us to prevent disease from developing and spreading. A new facility will enable us to become a more effective community resource. We could implement more prevention and education initiatives, such as large-scale spaying and neutering programs and youth-based humane education that will address the root causes of animal abuse and abandonment, ultimately saving more lives. We want to create a warm and welcoming space, a facility that will draw in as many people as possible and that will allow for animals in our care to better socialize both with each other and with potential adopters, allowing us to get more animals into loving families. But we cannot achieve any of this without you. The state of our shelter is a community crisis that will take the community to solve. We're asking you now to help us realize this vision and unleash the possibilities for animals in our community. Help us to build a pleasant and welcoming facility for staff, for volunteers, and for the public. Help us to build a shelter of which we can all be proud and that will stand as a testament to the humanity of our community. But most of all, we need you to help us help them. They've been our companions for thousands of years, and they bring immeasurable joy into the lives of millions of people. They give us unconditional love and steadfast loyalty. Please help us give them the care they deserve.